Awesome. Well, welcome back everyone to another episode of the Health Made Simple show. I am here with our host, Dr. Bart Precourt, who has been a healthcare practitioner for over 20 years, practicing a range of modalities, including chiropractic, kinesiology, acupuncture, functional nutrition, supplementation and lab testing, all out of his studio, Balance Health Studio, in Seagrove Beach, Florida, as well as virtually all around the world on Zoom, just like this. So he's also the founder of the Health Edge program, which is a cutting edge health program for entrepreneurs and executives wanting to take their health to the next level, and has worked with celebrities and athletes all around the world. So he's here tonight to answer your questions. If you have any, we've already had a bunch sent in. So if you do have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, put them in Facebook if you're there, and we will we'll do our best to answer them. Well, you will do your best to answer them. I'll just ask you the questions.
Yeah, I'll do my best. So before we get digging in here, I want to share with you a little clinical insight again. I practice a couple of days a week, and then I always have like this aha moment of something, where I feel like I just learned that or whatever. So today particularly, there was really three things. They're kind of the same thing, but they're kind of three things. And really, today is one of those days as a practitioner that I got inspired by my patients. Instead of just being the one that always inspires, like today I really got inspired by like listening to people, by the strategies and stuff that they're kind of doing. So the one, there's a couple, so I want to share those with you. So one, Thanksgiving is coming, obviously, right? And here on the show, we're always talking about like, how do we develop strategies to level up? And especially when we know that, like, we know what's coming, right? The holidays are coming. We know that I've spoke a lot about it, that it's like Thanksgiving Day or the day after is the #1 day of the year for heart attacks in our country.
Yeah, crazy
Christmas,
stuff.
I think the day after Christmas is the #2 and New Year's Day is #3. So with just knowing that, like that's enough to start to develop strategies. So the theme has been the last several weeks is to do better than last year. So I had people coming in today, Karen, and I was just like, man, I was like inspired. They were talking about like how they're making all this food in this year that's going to be organic, and they're doing like these pies and all this kind of stuff and like keto stuff. Like, and what's cool about it is that it just reminds me that if it's what you want to get done and if it's important to you, it just happens. So like we're going to have, we'll probably have 20 people at the house, and people are going to bring things. And we just ask everyone, listen, if you, whatever you're making, just make it organic. And like, no one like says, oh, I can't do it or anything like that. So that's super, super cool. Love it, because the more that each one of us raises that bar and says those things, hey, can you bring it? You can make that organic, or, like what's in that? It just has this ripple effect. And so like everyone just keep doing that. So that inspired me today. And then
it helps the other people. Like you asking that of the other people might remind them, like they might actually, they don't mind at all. They might have not had it on front of mind. They might have been busy around the holidays. It actually helps them to be like, hey, we're going to have it organic, or, it helps inspire other people to maybe do the same.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of times our family members, let's say our moms and our dads and stuff like that, maybe they're not familiar with even knowing, like they can't imagine changing their 40-year-old turkey recipe. Like I totally get it. And change is awesome. So like we did it last year, we'll do it again this year. We'll do I keep saying I really don't cook it. Somebody will make a gluten-free stuffing, which is basically bread, so there's so many opportunities to just make it, when we do get together and celebrate with food, which we can and we should, it can still be healthy for us. So that part of it like was pretty inspiring just here. And then of course, we're talking about like strategies, right? So, all right, this is what we're going to do here in Thanksgiving. My encouragement now is really look at the next 4 to 8 weeks, 4 to 10 weeks. So that brings you through January. So we know the next, we'll just call it 4 or 5 weeks through New Year's, is the tough one. There's gonna be multiple opportunities, multiple situations taking place for eating. Yeah. And it's not, and it's not, you can't do this. It's not that you can't enjoy life, but enjoy life and be healthy at the same time is 100% doable. Yeah. So having a good strategies during that time. And then of course, in January, cleanse. Oh, real quickly. So make sure I go back to the other things that inspired me, but I want to just make a note. So here, Karen, you're from Australia, so you guys don't do Thanksgiving. So it's huge. It's a huge holiday in our country. Like, I want to say it's probably, I know we do Christmas, but there's, like different, holiday celebrations, Hanukkah and whatnot, but everybody does Thanksgiving for the most part. And it's huge in our country. So everyone gets together and celebrates together. So we know we're going to get derailed a little bit. So we have something called Black Friday. I don't know how this got turned into this, but Black Friday
is Black Friday though. I don't know.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay. So I don't need to explain all that to you. Anyways, so we're doing a Black Friday sale. So everyone listen close, especially those of you, like you're on a routine. All of the supplementations we do is 25% off everything. But here's the cool part. You do not have to come to the office to get them. If you call in, even tonight, we'll take that order at 25% off. So all of them. So which is pretty cool, including the cleanse early bird special, we'll take additional 25% off. So if you guys hear me saying that,
if you call the office.
Yeah. So if you're local, you can just do it. But I had some people say, well, I'm not going to be around. I won't be able to do that. We don't care. Just call. And my crew, they're awesome. They'll just send it out to you. So, so that's just a big note there. This Friday, Saturday, whatever, 25% off Black Friday sale.
So as of now, like if they call up anytime.
Yeah, they can do it now. I told the staff to be ready for it. I said,
Okay.
I told them we're going to announce it tonight. So if they can call as early as tomorrow, there'll be no one there tonight. But if they want to call, they can get their order in and we will ship that out for you, especially if like the supplements that you are taking on a pretty regular basis. So do that. All right, let me go back.
Discount. Okay. And really quickly, that includes the cleanse, which we're doing on the 3rd of January.
Yeah, so there's an early bird special already in play, and then an additional 25% off that. But that goes away this weekend. So so that's going to be short-lived. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So we've never done that before, and I might like I don't know if we'll do that again, but we're going to do that anyways.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to put, if you guys want to look at more information, I'll put the link to the cleanse in the chat. You can have a look, but to order that one with the Black Friday special, call the office.
Yeah. Yes. Cool. Yeah. So that would definitely be the way to do it right now. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So back to some of the things that inspire me. So this young girl comes in today and it's about her year anniversary that I've been working with her. And like most of us as humans, we're barely ever satisfied. Right. And we had a good moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like we can do like all these changes. Yeah. And we're like, yeah, we would be like, yeah, but I want to be here. And I get that. And that's okay. And that's what I think is awesome. I love that mentality. If I can jump 5 feet, why not jump 6? Yeah. That's who and what we are as humans. Along that way, though, we got to like celebrate the win. So we had a moment there, and since last year, she's beautiful. She looks like a different woman. She's lost like 30 pounds. And what I told her, the most significant thing that I see about her is the glow she has. Nice. Like it's when you're taking care of yourself and you're putting the work in, you have a different glow. Yeah. Like you vibe different because your intentions, your cells are just working different. So I want to remind everyone that like when you're putting the work in, it by itself is sexy. Like, and never forget it, that energy of that you put into, to getting yourself becoming closer to a superhuman. And whatever that may be, maybe it's to lose a couple pounds, maybe feel better, to have more energy, think better, whatever it may be. Never discount the fact, just the vibe that goes with that. And that's like, I almost like, it's like, she has this like total different swagger. She's a different woman. Yeah. Who walked in my office a year ago. So, we had a moment to laugh and celebrate about that. That was pretty cool.
And she's probably done it in a really sustainable way that she can maintain.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is lifestyle. This is lifestyle. And you know what the crazy thing is? I'll just make a note about this clinical insight. She used to work out 6 days a week.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right now she's working out because her schedule is crazy. She's in retail. She's working out like twice a week.
Yeah. And it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and for some people, working out 6 days a week is actually causing them to hold on to the weight.
It can, especially the intent behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that intention is so powerful. That vibration that we have during anything that we do is so incredibly important. But she's a real good sleeper now, and she's super good with her supplements and her mindfulness. So there's so many huge victories. We can go on all day about that. So the third one I want to give a holler out to. This is going to seem weird. I'm not advocating divorce, but a young woman who's decided to get divorce, and I want to celebrate that in the sense that I've known her for several years now. I've never knew that there was any issue there.
Yeah.
And the challenge is that the interesting thing is we've been working as an adrenal case for years. And I didn't know this piece.
Yeah.
That wouldn't really change the strategy, but I would have talked to her about different things because this came up about exercising. She's like, I just haven't had the energy lately to, hammer it out on my Peloton. And we went into that conversation. And sure enough, she shared with me. I said, listen, man, in that situation, I wish I knew that, because I would not have you hammering it out on Peloton. I'd have you reserving that energy for your health. And she had caught COVID twice, like all these other things. And that's the power of stress.
Yeah.
So we want to be real mindful, but I was really impressed by the fortitude it takes to be in a marriage for decades and have to make a decision about your life and your health. And so sometimes it's whatever it takes so we can be the best superhuman that we possibly can, because that was our gift, right? Our gift is this possibility that we can do and have it all. But we have to be willing to step into those shoes. And those are tough ones sometimes. So those are my clinical insights. Super inspired today about, just all of that. And I think it just goes with the whole vibe in our town right now. It's just super high, and, it's family time, et cetera. So
It is so awesome. And it is, it kind of goes back to what you always talk about your tribe, hanging out with inspiring people all day makes you want to do better and keep up leveling and keep, improving your health.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll tell you, the lady who was getting divorced, I know her tribe, and her tribe is awesome. Yeah. And they have her back, and they let her know, they're letting her know it's not any bad guy, good guy. It's just like, hey, we got you, and you're going to become on the other end of this, going to be better. And a lot of times, and I share that because there's a lot of things that we all have in life that are holding us back, that we're making them bigger and insurmountable. And as a result of it, we're
most of the time we're always making it bigger than it has to be.
Yeah. And something like a divorce, especially when you live in a small community, our ego gets really affected. We're going to be the talk of the town and stuff like that. No, it's not true. That's going to happen for a couple of days or a week, and then people get on with their lives. But sometimes
people aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are. They've got their own problems, right?
Yeah. It's so real. But it's seeing her light up, finding that she were having, even in the conversation I was having her, just to watch her from this meek, I'm getting a divorce, to I'm going to be retiring in a couple of years, and I'm going to go kick, I'm going to go have this whole new life. That part of it, to see that part of life come about. And so I think that's worthy for all of us to kind of take a step back and be like, well, what's my strategy? Can I do what I'm currently doing for the long haul? And would it be good for me? That whole conversation about longevity. In January, I'm doing a talk for this national group about longevity. And so that really is that's often, it's been in my brain a lot. What are the things that, we're doing? What are the things that people are doing on a daily basis? Are we thinking about our futures? Are we building our body and our health and the processes that we have? Are we building anything that's actually going to add up? And what I find a lot of times with health, and I get it. So this COVID thing for the last 2 years been very short-sighted. It was looking at right here, right now, but not the big picture of things. Because if we're going to have that plan, we have to have different strategies. And I think that, so let's just say, for example, we might be thinking, Thursday's Thanksgiving, you're thinking about all the food that you can have. Or have you thought about Friday? Have you thought about Saturday and Sunday? Have you thought about the next 4, 5, 6, and 7 weeks? What is your strategy to counterbalance the not so good moments? And, when it comes to longevity, there are some clear-cut things that are out there that, and I want to kind of phrase it this way, that are clear about mortality. So they kind of call it like all cause mortality, all cause mortality rates. And what you want to be is like, this improves all cause mortality, which means that any cause, whether you're getting run over by a car or you're catching the boogly woogly disease because you ate the wrong food. There are certain traits that we know if you have these and less of these, that you are better off for all causes mortality. And I think it's not super rock science, but sometimes maybe it's good to hear. And I'll share a couple of those with me. And I know we have a bunch of questions, but when it comes to physical, maybe I'll just leave it here tonight about the physical stuff. That there's really three things when we talk about our strategy for our physical body. Three things. And I was talking to my staff about these today. I didn't even know, but check this out. My staff, love them. They have it. Oh boy, I forgot what it's called. It's like Tune Up Tuesday now, and they all exercise together.
Oh, isn't that awesome?
It's so awesome. Like, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Don't tell me, I'm good.
Yeah. Don't invite me. Fine.
Yeah.
You Tune Up Tuesday on your own.
Yeah. And they're like doing spin classes and push-ups and doing some core stuff. I absolutely love it. Like, it's beautiful. They've done it like 6 weeks straight. I don't even know what's going on. Yeah. Anyway, so I share with them when we look at our physical bodies and our exercise. So this might be something that we can start to plan for, like the new year. Like, so there's three parts of it when it comes to even, all cause of mortality. One, we have to have a cardiovascular base. So when you think about the exercise program that you do or don't have, hopefully you got something for cardio. That's number one. That's our cardiovascular health, because we know that if you do something for your cardiovascular health, you're probably reducing your heart disease massively. But if you do anything for your cardiovascular health, we know that you're lowering your risk for all causes mortality. Cool. That means by doing cardio, you will die less likely than a person who's not. That's pretty cool, right?
And by cardio, what can people do?
Really, great question. Like anything, you can walk, you can brisk walk. Yeah. You can do Peloton. That's a real popular one now. You can do your CrossFit. You can do a run. You can do a jog. You can do a bike ride. Anything that elevates your heart rate more than sitting on the couch.
Yeah. So even it is a brisk walk, even if you're making sure that you're doing that every day as a minimum.
100%. My cardio is using my brisk walking right now. And and it's on my schedule. 2022, I will be in the cardio game. And that's like that. Out of my three things I'm about to talk about, that's my weak link. So this is how we can all kind of think about this. I'm going to share three things and see what your weak link is and start making a strategy and a plan for it. So there's cardiovascular health. So, and you got to do what serves your body. Like, it probably won't serve me to start pounding the pavement running wise, but maybe a spin bike or something.
Will not like that.
Yeah, then they probably won't like that. But I will tell you now that here's what's interesting, Karen. Because I can't do it, I want to do it twice as much.
Now you want to run, whereas before you didn't even like running anyway.
And now I would just be so grateful just to be able to run again. So yeah. I will not lose out on that opportunity, because I had really no reason not to do it. So that's one. So cardiovascular health, and all you want to do is make it better than it used to be. And ideally, if you could do something cardiovascular, literally 5 days a week. And I'm not talking about doing cardio to lose weight. I'm doing cardio to improve your cardiovascular health, to become a healthier human being that circulates better, that releases hormones better, that releases endorphins better. That's that version of cardio. Number two is strength. We got to get stronger. Yeah, physically stronger. Your muscles need to work better. When you think about our cultures, all of ours, yours, ours, we're all around the world right now. We're sitting on our butts all freaking day. We are weak, like
some
physically
people sit
weak.
11 hours, like if you drive to work and then you sit in an office and then you drive home and then you sit on the couch, that can be like literally 10 or 11 hours sitting.
Yeah.
And that's not like, that happens to lots of people.
So I'm gonna talk about a couple like cool things when it comes to all causes of mortality. So let go of all the things you think you know about, like strength training. That was really important. I get it. Like, man, if you are healthy enough and you can do CrossFit, God bless you. Awesome. Keep doing it. But these are simplicities.
Not everybody needs to do CrossFit though.
Right. This is just for every man and woman out there. These are things we can do that literally have been tied to lowering all causes of mortality. One, grip strength.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So super,
Grip
super
strength.
grip strength. It's just simple, Karen. You got strong grip. You feel like a strong human being.
Wow.
It is one of
Okay.
the biggest issues. So like, I'll see a lot of women who do yoga and they say, well, like it always hurts my wrist. Your hands are wimpy. You're
Oh,
not
yeah,
doing it.
that's
You're
true,
not,
actually.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
not doing enough hard
Yeah.
shit. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, we got to get our hands stronger. So,
Yeah.
and that's to pick up stuff. It's to control the body. So, to do whatever we need to do. But a lot of people's fatigue comes because the actual thing that has to do the most work are weak. So I actually have known this for years, and somewhere along the way, I heard that good grip strength makes you live longer. So I'm always working my hand strength. Yeah,
There you
and
go.
then like and as a chiropractor, I have to have like good
Yeah.
strong hands. So here's something I'm gonna suggest. It's totally random conversation. Go to like your sports goods store, like around here, there's like Dick's, or you can just go online and get yourself a bunch of hand grips
Yeah.
and
Okay.
put them in your car, put them in your office desk, and just do them all day long. You
Yeah.
don't need workout gear. You
No.
don't need like a gym. You don't need fancy shoes. You don't need a matching outfit. Nothing.
No, when you're waiting for something, instead of scrolling your phone, do some like
Just hand
hand
grips.
grips,
And I'm
right?
blown away. So I bought some last year, and there's like 3 different levels. There's steel ones, and they were like, the first one was like, I'm like, whoa, this is hard. And then the second one, I was like, damn, I could barely do this. The third one, I couldn't do. I was like, it's broken. It's like it's supposed to bend, but it doesn't.
Blame the tools. It's
Yeah.
broken.
And like of just like doing them, pushing myself harder to those, I can do them now, which is really, really cool. And the best thing that ever, like the coolest thing that happens if you have a hand grip, if you use it so much, eventually it'll break.
Yeah,
I broke one the other day.
that.
Yeah, broke one. So
Yeah,
like,
proud moment.
yeah, proud moment. Pat myself on the back. But that is right there. So grip strength says a lot about a human being, what their ability just to function in life. So that's a simple one. If you want to take that to the next level, if you have access to like a pull-up bar, your ability, how long you can hang.
Oh, hang. Okay.
Yes, it's very indicative of overall body strength, especially your grip. A lot of people can't do pull-ups because the grip isn't strong enough to literally hold on to their whole body weight. So work on the grip strength is number one. So that's a huge one. So
pull-ups are hard.
Well, pull-ups are the hardest. Like that's my staff and I were talking about today. They're like, I just want to be able to do pull-ups, like 10 of them. I'm like, so do I. Like that's pull-ups.
And give me 2.
Yeah. So get really strong and really light. And that's all you need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So all right. So back to my longevity for just physical body. And maybe we'll hold off talking about like the mind and the diet at other times. But so cardiovascular health, improve strength, and increase mobility.
Yeah.
So every day I have this conversation in my office. And, so a guy today, first time in my office, big dude, CrossFit dude, probably 220, like big dude, strong as an ox. Man, I said, can you touch your back? And he's like, he has to bend over and like do one of these jobs.
Yeah.
Like, that's not healthy. And he's only 40.
Yeah.
Like, that's not getting any better.
What about the stand up off the floor thing? Like without your hands, isn't that a like kind of longevity thing? Like if you're on the ground sitting,
yes,
try to get up without using your hands. Like have your hands up.
Any way, shape or form, get your butt off the mound. But back to this mobility here. So first starting point is that the simple part of it is you should be able to touch every single part of your body, hands down.
Okay, but not with straight legs, right? No.
Just know you should be able to touch every part of your body.
Yeah.
With your hands. So that's like a fundamental, like that should be absolutely. And if not, you get
everybody's now trying.
Yeah, everyone's like, try. Yeah. So, in listening, if not, maybe that's like, maybe that's one of the spots that you work. But mobility, it's real crystal clear. We're born like Gumby, we die in rigor mortis.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are. Yeah, depending on where you are, like, are you getting tighter? Tighter will negate strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and especially in martial arts, we know that like your strength is always, you're good up until you're limited in your mobility. And with a decreased mobility, or if you're lacking the ability to move your body, more prone for injury. So those 3 things right there for longevity, and that's something every one of us can do and start to kind of create a plan. And the other thing I would say over these next 6 or 7 weeks here, get real with yourself. Like we know we have the cleanse coming in January 3rd.
Yeah.
So there are some very controllable things. I don't know that the food part is going to like be 100% on, but what you can be 100% on is your supplementation, taking your vitamins and herbs, and also your exercise. So keep them awesome. And then the other one slides a little bit, and then you draw the line in the sand in January. So,
I mean, like through Thanksgiving. Yeah, like even it out rather than let everything go. Okay, I'm going to eat, I'm not going to exercise, and I've now forgotten my vitamins. Stick to like, see if you can get the other two really on so that when the food drops a little bit, evens out a little bit more.
Yeah. So literally like solidify a strategy, like have a plan in hand. And I think exactly just what you said there, like know that you're going to commit to your exercise routine. You're going to commit to taking your vitamins and your supplements and herbs, all that good stuff, knowing there might be some flexibility with your food. Although, with your food, you'll draw the line back in the sand on January and you'll hunker down. Remember, that's a rehab for us. That's literally rehabilitating your digestive system so you can then get back into the best version of yourself. And we all need that, 1 or 2 times a year, that it's literally like all in, like not, oh, I'm doing better. Like it is all in. Yeah.
Awesome. And what about in between Thanksgiving and Christmas? Like, are there things that like, do you get people to, or do you recommend like fasting after Thanksgiving or anything people can do?
My favorite for those, my favorite is to establish all the way through the holidays is if you play, you pay. And this is going to include your strategy for alcohol, meaning that if you have a night, you go to your office party and you're eating this and you're eating that, the hors d'oeuvres or whatever, and then you have a couple glasses of wine and you're drinking and eating more and you're going to bed later. If you play, that's called play, and then you're going to pay in the morning. You're going to fast out. This strategy right here is a game changer. You fast it out in the morning. Go at least 16 hours. Let's get that blood sugar down. Yeah, you might be a little cranky. So be it. Like you played last night. Now paying. If you're willing to do that, where you kind of like teeter back and forth. All right, I played last night and I'm going to pay this morning. And the more you do that, that by itself is such an incredible strategy, Karen. You're doing so much benefit after that not such good moment. Yeah. So we get to balance your blood sugars out, clear it back out, and then you can like kind of do guilt-free. And that could be an inexpensive, very, very effective strategy.
Yeah. No, I love it. And it's good to, as you said, I mean, if you plan for it and you've got those strategies, you know what you're doing the next day. And then you can, if you do like to have a couple of drinks Thanksgiving or whatever, you can kind of plan around it, minimize the damage.
Yeah. And then be okay if some of those strategies some of those fasts turn into longer fasts. It's okay. Again, part of the goal in the intermittent fasting, it would be that you can intermittent fast at any point, almost for any length of time, and you're fine. And let's just say that intermittent fasting, intermittent being anywhere from it'd be like 14 to 22 hours. Because once you get to 24 hours, no longer intermittent fast, that is a fast. You have fasted. Yes. Yeah. So, yeah. And
by fine, you mean just not cranky, not overhung, what's fine?
That would be in beginning of the year. We'll talk a fair amount about that because I kind of got a plan right after the cleanse. I'm gonna most likely we're gonna go into a pretty significant fasting schedule on starting February 1st, like a whole keto program for those who want to do it. But the true metabolic flexibility is, hey, listen, if I have food today, I can eat. If I don't have it tomorrow, I'm good, because my body can shift gears. So today, I went 22 hours, not intentional. I just got, it was so great. Like we were just rolling and people just coming in, I was, getting a chance to connect with everyone. And I didn't get home until 4:30, not too early, not too much before I talked to you.
Yeah.
So that put me at probably about 22 hours. And I felt good about it because I haven't been at my best, in terms of there's been sneaking in a little more carbohydrates. They're still all healthy, but I've been eating a little bit more like these peanut butter balls and stuff like that. So I was good to see. On
an organic cafe with probably amazing peanut butter balls, right? Is that where you get them from?
Yeah, and they're ridiculous. They have protein in them. So they're organic, organic raw almond and peanut butter with protein in them. They're ridiculous. So my problem is just it'd be great. So they come 4, you buy 4 at a time.
Oh, you buy 4 in a pack?
Yeah, 4 in a pack. They come 4 in a pack.
Yeah.
Which is good. And usually you would share those.
Yeah. But you don't share them?
No, I eat them, and I usually eat 2 packs. So that's it's
Those
I
kind
do
of
know
things, if I buy them like that, I actually have to, you know what I do? I freeze them. So like half of them, I'll go and freeze them, because I mean, you could just go next door and get more again. So that's not going to help you. But otherwise, when they taste like that, I'm always so tempted to eat, like I'll eat all 4 if I don't just go and freeze them.
Yeah, I think some people will understand what I'm about to say. So I have this different thing that goes on in my brain. So like when I have like excess food there, and I'm like, well, it's just like, if it's in my house, I'm going to eat it. That's my, like, I don't have really great discipline when it comes to that. People are like, oh, you got great discipline. No, I don't. I just have great strategies. My strategies, don't put it around me because I'm probably going to eat it. So, so my thing is that if it's sitting around in my house, part of my brain goes, you know what, just go ahead and eat it, get it over with, and there'll be none left. And
that's not a good mindset for everybody else out there. That's not.
But I'm certain that someone else has that same strategy. They're
we have all done that. And especially, I mean, not that you were doing this, but especially if you've ever done the I'm starting my diet tomorrow, then you have to like get everything out of your house before the diet tomorrow, which means that you have to eat it before you start tomorrow because it's in your house. And what are you going to do with it? So you need to finish it off before you start your diet tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So anyways, so develop strategies. Don't necessarily use the ones I have, but nonetheless, use those. Yeah.
No, I think it's good though. A lot of people think that it's their own willpower and that they're the only ones that don't have the willpower to stick to it. And having strategies is better than willpower.
Yeah.
Right? And there's always going to be times, and especially if you're over this time stressed, tired, your willpower is going to be lower.
And it goes beyond that. I was having a conversation with the guys who does a concierge program with me, and he said, Bart, I understand. I have discipline everywhere in my life. When it comes to food, I have none. And I said, well, I want you to back up a little bit and pump the brakes, because the truth of the matter is that the marketing company, the food companies, they knew how to get you addicted to food. They knew how to change your emotions with food, with the thought of food, with smells, with colors. So really the cards are stacked so far against us. And that's why I like God's Garden, because when we're going in that direction, it's safe, it's gentle, and it's easy, and it's repeatable. But all the other stuff, once you dive into that outside of the God's Garden foods, I mean, you are up against scientists.
Yeah.
You're not against your willpower anymore. You are literally against scientists. And that's why like the one potato chip or the one piece of cake, like it is way out of our league to compete with what those chemicals are doing to our body. So that's why, and I usually kind of say, even though I'll go off track on my carbs, it's still 100% God's Garden. It's just sometimes too much of it. Yeah,
no, that's awesome. And we'll have to touch base on the other longevity items in the coming shows, because I know even when I read stuff about the blue zones, which I think is living till over 90 in good health, so it's not just longevity, it's like being super active into your 90s. There's a whole bunch of things, like you said, like mindset and community and some of that kind of stuff that feeds in.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into some of the questions.
All right, first one we've got here. So we got this written in. My 85-year-old mama has recently expressed concern that she finds it difficult to stay focused and engaged during church, watching TV, reading, during phone conversations, etc. Her mind wanders and her memory is also slipping. What can she do to help stay mentally sharp?
Well, the good news is your grandmother's doing all those things. That's beautiful. The fact that she's reading, going to church, talking on friends. So super activity. We have to fire up the brain to get the brain to work. I love using a brain tonic. It's an herbal. And I think in this scenario, it'd probably pay dividends. And it's made because we have a couple of things. We want focus and we also want memory. Those are a little bit different. The focus ginkgo is one of the absolute best herbs, time tested. Karen, we have a brain tonic. So the other part of this, so there's ginkgo and there's bacopa. And they each play a role in different short-term and long-term memories. So super active is the number one thing. She's got to talk, she's got to look, she's got to read, she's got to have a schedule, got to
every day.
Yes. And it's important we don't discount these things. For people to have a schedule requires their minds to work. When our schedule gets unfilled, it's not so easy. It's like a dog. You want a really well-trained dog, keep them active, give them a job.
Yeah.
Like literally give them a job, make them go hiking and walking with you. Same thing as adults. If we don't have a job per se, we've got to kind of fill in that schedule with things that serve us. So I love hearing that your 85-year-old mom or grandma is doing those things. Now let's support her brain. It's harder and harder for her to extract nutrients. So I would do that brain tonic. And then there's something also that's awesome. And I love it for my older people because it helps with equilibrium and balance. And it's something called RNA, ribonucleic acid. And that feeds the cerebellum. So one's kind of a nutrient and one's herbal. And I usually get like really good results with that. And I talk about, that's the same tonic that I typically do before my show, but I was out tonight. So if I forget my words or I forget what I'm talking about, that's not my fault. Yeah.
And your brain tonic, there you go. Everyone needs to call up Balance for that. We can't buy that one online.
Correct. Yeah. We formulate that in the office and we'll send it directly to you. It's super, super awesome. Very effective. And the cool thing is that a lot of times they'll notice it right away. Like they'll just have more mental clarity. Love it, love it, love it. One other sneaky thing that they can try. If she drinks coffee, have her very, 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 very small amounts of MCT oil to her coffee.
Okay. So how come we need to keep it small?
Because if, especially as we get older, we're not really good at breaking down fats, and that's it's an isolated, the medium chain triglyceride. That's what the MCT oil is, and it'll go right through them. So we don't have them poop in their pants. Is really why. So we have to get used to taking it. Yeah. Anyone who's ever taken too much MCT oil knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I find MCT oil is something that also supports our brain, and meaning that it's one of those, it's a fat. So, and then of course, if this person, my guess is if they've been here, they already know that the first step of all of this was your fish oils. That DHA is the most important thing for that brain function to begin with. So that's a really good starting point, and your grandma will notice some nice changes there.
So the cod liver oil for that one?
Yeah, cod liver oil is great. A tuna oil would be good. If they don't like pills, we don't talk much here, but I'll use calamari oil.
Calamari oil.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the calamari oil, for anyone who has issues with pills, and the cod liver oils are kind of big, even though I want you to bite them. The calamari oil is a liquid, and 1 teaspoon is the equivalent of 4 big pills.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty good alternative, and it doesn't taste bad at all.
From Standard Process?
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've got it here. Okay.
It's one of the strongest volume of DHA there is out there.
Huh. Okay. Awesome. All right, next question. Why do I have the following symptoms? Sneezing, itchy eyes, and sore throat. Oh, when I turn on the heat in my home. Do I need a humidifier or dehumidifier?
Okay, cool. So down here, I'm guessing that comes from down here. So down here, like there's been some cooler nights. We're like,
you've used heat in Florida?
Yeah. So yeah, it's been cooler, or this could be anywhere in the country. And when you first turn on your heat, man, you're gonna blow out dust, bacteria, and just crap molds. And a lot of them, the heat will almost cook it and it pushes into the air. So everyone, if you haven't done this yet, if you haven't turned your heat on, when you don't need the heat, like tomorrow, open up all the windows, crank the heat up to leave the house for like an hour or two, because it's going to blow so much out into your house. And this happens across the board. Now it's going to recirculate for a while. And so we want to make sure that that's not happening. So just get it all out, open the windows. I know it's a little counterproductive, but we want to get that junk out of the house, change up your air filters, etc. The other part too. So when we heat and we recirculate, takes the moisture out. And for a lot of people, that's too much. And that's part of that mucosal lining that gets dried up that we talk so much about during the what was the COVID strand, the second one that was Delta, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Delta strand, yeah, that affected the mucosal lining a little bit more.
Yeah.
That is the mucosal lining that gets beat up. And that's the innate immune system that immediately waters the eyes, gets those mucosal glands, the white blood cells to kick everything out. So yes, a little bit of a humidifier could be good. I don't go that route. What I would just say, open, even though it's going to be cold out, crack a couple windows in the house. Let some normal circulating air in. And that's probably the healthiest thing you can do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't use it as much. I do use heat sometimes now, but especially when the buildings all were heated when I lived in Canada, I would always have to have the window open a little bit. I couldn't sleep if the window wasn't open a little bit, because otherwise the heat was just too much. Any supplements or anything that can help?
Yeah. So there's two that would really do. So if you, the itchy eyes, especially itchy eyes, ears, nose, throat, the absolute best of the gold standard one is something called Albizia Complex. It's herbal, through MediHerb. It's like, that's the one where like your eyes are just watering, they're itchy. You may have sneezing fits. And a sneezing fit is where you do more than 2 at a time. Like you sneeze. You're being triggered at that point. Your innate immune system is trying to get something out of your body. One of the absolute best is something called Albizia Complex. And you don't have to stay on it. You take it during that phase and then you can come back off it. But if you're that person that has those sneezing fits, or those relentless watery eyes, Albizia will help, and it'll help heal that response up as well. That, and then of course there's Antranex. Antranex is the one, it works a little bit like a natural, I'm going to say this gently, almost like a natural antihistamine, but a total different mechanism. So it's not blocking histamine, it's helping liver drain so you don't have to produce as much histamine. And that's the one you take right before you go to bed on an empty stomach and first thing in the morning to increase the drainage. And then it usually just stops. Okay.
Nice. And the first one you said, I think we need to call the office for that one. So anything where I don't have the link, if you just call the office, you'll be able to give them a link to be able to, or just email the office, right?
Yeah, just email the office and then we'll make sure that you get that code as well. Once you have that code, you have full access to everything.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. And those supplements you're talking about with eyes and stuff, I mean, that's for allergies and things like that too. Anytime you get running eyes, runny nose, runny eyes. Okay, cool. Next question. Should you eat until you're full?
So we should eat until we're full, but let's kind of like, let's define that. So we should be paying enough attention that we eat until we're satiated, which would be full. But don't push your food away if you're not satiated, if you don't feel full, because it'll only ramp up your appetite to go get more. Okay. So eat until you're satiated and then you're done. But here's the subtlety here. Eat until you're full, but not overflowing. And that means we have to pay attention, right? So like fill the gas tank up, but don't overflow it. The moment you overflow, now you got a problem. And that is probably the biggest thing with getting full / overeating, that we're eating emotionally, we're eating when we're out with other people. Here's a good analogy. This is like a good little gut check. Let's just say that my wife and I go out to eat and I'm every bit of 50 or 60 pounds heavier than her, right? Let's just say we go to the burrito place down the road, Chipotle. And let's just say we both get a burrito. They're going to be the same size, correct?
Yeah.
There's probably a good chance that if I eat the whole thing and I'm like satiated, that it's probably too much for her. And when you go out to eat, like they're not going to give you your food based on your weight or by the size of the body, right? No. Yeah. But we have to have that awareness in that we don't get just caught in the trap as, clean plate club. Like I'm just going to always clean my plate. I'm always going to finish that. So, but that takes some mindfulness. That takes pause. That takes like a little sense, get the sense of where you're at. And then also, man, like, I don't know if anyone else grew up with it, but like I grew up with like, you had to finish your food.
Yeah.
Like, it was almost like a guilt associated with, if you didn't finish your plate, like there's some kid starving someplace, how could you dare not eat all your food? I know it's crazy, but I think everyone understands that. So letting go of that food concept, huge, and eating until you're satiated is the best way to eat, and not pushing away food just because you think you've had enough. Like, and then the other part of it is this, it's like, maybe you don't even know where that line is. Then I'm going to suggest push it away, because the truth is you can always go back and get more. That's our reality. Like in this modern day world, there's food for many of us, just about everywhere. So
There sure is. Or maybe what about eating slower? Does that help you be able to?
All the above. That intuitiveness, like that one, Karen, right there, eating slower, chewing your food, not eating with a phone, not eating while talking, not eating while driving, not eating while watching TV, like not eating while texting, like all the above. That mindfulness, that would, that's how we eat until we're satiated, AKA full, but never overflow. Because that is a stressor. Once you do that, now we're tapping out our digestive enzymes. We're making the gallbladder overwork. The pancreas is on like, what are you doing to me? Like,
it makes you tired too, right? I mean, I'm sure we've all had times where we have eaten too much, right? And you don't feel good. You're tired.
And always keeping in mind too, when the way that the body works with excess, whether it's a toxin or excess, it does really the same thing. It uses a fat cell to store it.
Yeah.
So, like me and my peanut butter balls, like if I eat too many peanut butter balls, my body doesn't need them. There's no way I can use that amount of peanut butter balls for food, for energy. I'm not doing that much. A body then says, all right, we'll store you for later. Where does it store? It stores in a fat cell. Yeah. So like we can overeat good food. There's no doubt about it. So eating till satiated, which means we feel good, but not overflowing.
It is harder to overeat good food. Obviously you can, and especially things like peanut butter balls. But I mean, the processed foods, you can eat so much more of them. I mean, eventually you get full from peanut butter balls, and your threshold there might be higher than a lot of people, but you get full.
And the key is satiated, because like say you go out to eat and there's bread and there's pasta and all that stuff, and you're not really getting good healthy fats, you won't be satiated. Yeah, and that's where it gets tricky. So making sure you're satiated, and that's where we get back into God's garden and having fiber, fat, and protein, ideally in just about all our meals. And that's the best way to balance it out.
Yeah, awesome, love it. Okay, next question: what does it mean if I have swollen or tender breasts?
Okay, well, this is kind of important to understand and kind of do a deep dive here. So this by itself, again, breast health could easily be an entire show. So listen closely, women, every woman listen, even if you don't have tender breasts. So breast health is important. So tender breast typically is first things first, look for the pattern. Okay, in the pattern meaning like, does it always happen around my cycle? Is it happen when I'm too tired? I'm getting too much caffeine in my life, too much sugar, too much gluten. And typically it's going to revolve around those three. And then of course the cycle, but it's still not normal. No matter what anyone tells you is PMS, no, your breasts are not supposed to be uncomfortable for a couple of days a week or a couple of days a month. It's not like you're not cursed like that. So
we have normalized all the PMS symptoms.
Right. And none of those PMS are normal. So symptoms are normal. Typically, Karen, what they are is an estrogen dominance.
Yeah.
So what happens is estrogen goes up, and it's usually combined with the thing that helps counterbalance estrogen. There's a deficiency in iodine.
Okay.
So iodine is the number one nutrient of the breast. And this is where it gets tricky, because there's not a lot of good sources of iodine.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it really isn't. So it's like sea kelp and seafood, and that's not even all seafood. Other than that, there's not much iodine. So then, if we go farther, so let's say the female body, you need a significant amount of iodine for breast health, a significant amount for your thyroid, which is twice the size of a guy's, and then also for your ovaries. So if you have an iodine deficiency, you got an endocrine issue. Yeah, you've got some issues stacking up there. So with that being said, iodine, you can take iodine, awesome. Most of the time I have my women be real careful of two things: caffeine and gluten. Get rid of them. Go 30 days without both of them, or really significantly reduce the caffeine, eliminate the gluten. And then typically see a change. There's the absolute best thing for this. So you want to get your iodine. There's an oil called evening primrose oil. Phenomenal. Been using this in clinic literally for over a decade. One of the absolute best things for breast tenderness. It's a very, very thin oil. It helps flush out the breast and lymph tissue in the breast. Very good. And again, It is not okay that they're tender. Fibrotic tissue in the breast is not okay. Fibrotic cysts in the breast are not okay. None of that is normal. And most of the times those will be exasperated through one of those things: sugar, caffeine, gluten. I don't know if alcohol does it as much. Estrogen dominance, and then it's combined with an iodine deficiency. So iodine, evening primrose oil, and being really mindful of the patterns, because we got to know these patterns. Like you got to have enough awareness about your breasts that, and again, it's not normal that you have tender breasts or swollen breasts during your cycle.
And what about, so which iodine, is there a process iodine supplement?
Yeah, so there's
prolamine.
There's something called bromelain iodine, and then a lot of people I'll often recommend people to start with something called trace minerals, and it's trace minerals B12. And this is a lower level of iodine, but it has all the other trace minerals. So it's really like supporting your thyroid as you're starting to introduce the iodine.
Yeah.
I like to kind of stair step the iodine little bit by little bit.
Because you can take too much of iodine, can't you?
Well, if you take too much, Karen, most likely to like during that phase will make you jittery.
Okay.
So like not going to be detrimental, and then also if you do have Hashimoto's, definitely get with your practitioner and learn how you'll strategize to bring in that iodine if you have Hashimoto's. But nonetheless, like there's not going to be any massive issues if you take too much. Sometimes it can kind of juice you up a little bit.
Okay, nice.
But that being said, I've used significantly higher doses than people think. A lot of other practitioners will disagree, and I've also seen I think there's something called an iodine miracle. It's a book. I'd be blown away about how many different things clear up in a woman when they have proper iodine steadily.
Yeah, wow.
Now think about it steadily. Like every woman listens to this. Think about through your entire life. Do you think you've ever had the proper amount of iodine? And the simple answer is no. Probably it's a simple answer. Like when's the last time you ate sea kelp?
I can't remember. Yeah.
So, so that being said, I would say that most women don't even, through the course of their lives they've been working in a deficiency.
Yeah. Yeah. And can you test it?
Yes, I don't. I don't really test it. There's different ways to test it. I don't know that I've really paid attention or thought that they've been accurate enough. So it's not what I run on my like a normal planner. There's tissue iodine and then there's blood iodine. So it's like testing calcium. You don't know how much calcium's in the tissue. You can tell what's in the blood, but that's not the effective part of it. So learning, like having good dialogue, that's when, sitting down, knowing how the thyroid health was seen, the thyroid panel. So the thyroid, this is a good example. When I see the thyroid panel, if someone's TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone, is super high, but they're producing enough T4, which is the hormone. That T4 tells me, hey, listen, you got a good amount, but if it's not converting to T3, the 4 on the thyroid, the T4, those are iodine. But if you don't have iodine, you won't make T4. So we can look to see where the deficiency is. So if you have T4s, but you don't have T3s, it means you're not converting it. That's a liver issue. So you're not pulling that iodine off to make it available for the rest of the body to use, what they call free T3. So like your thyroid panel will give us an inclination of what your body is or is not doing with iodine. If your T4 is too low, you need more iodine. It's kind of, that's the measurement we'll use. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Very cool. Nice. Well, we are almost out of time. So let's move on to our last question, which is flew by, didn't it?
Wow.
What is one action that our listeners can take to move them towards their goal of becoming superhuman?
Well, man, we got there quick. I would say solidify a strategy over the next, literally, sit it down. You're listening to this tonight. Just literally take 3 minutes to kind of write down what your next 8 to 10 weeks look like. Bring yourself through January, because there'll be some things going not so great. But what things will you commit to happening? Exercise, supplements, and then your food won't be as good as it is now, maybe, and then maybe you'll commit to. If you play, you pay, and then commit to drawing the line in the sand in January and join us for the cleanse.
Yeah, awesome. Yes, and I'm reminded, I guess, until Friday, everybody gets 20% off the cleanse. So make sure you guys do
25.
25% for Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
So if you were on the fence, that makes it a really good deal. Just jump in. We do a 10-day and a 21-day. People can choose.
Yep. And if you guys join this call late, listen, you can literally just call the office. You don't have to show up for all the supplements. If you know your typical stuff, you can call in and we'll send it out for your Black Friday sale of 25% off.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, for another episode of the Health Made Simple show.
You got it. And good having everyone here. Have an awesome Thanksgiving. And of course, we can take deliberate action for our mind, our body, overall wellness. Y'all be awesome.